In the quiet hills of a small village tucked away in the English countryside lived a young girl named Eliza. Her family had very little, just a mud-bricked cottage with a leaking roof, a patch of land that barely fed them, and the endless struggle of making ends meet. Her father, once a strong man, had injured his back working on a farm, and her mother spent her days washing clothes for neighbors. Eliza, barely 10, knew what hardship looked like. She saw it every morning when her parents rose before dawn, shoulders hunched from exhaustion, eyes full of unspoken worry. Each day, Eliza would watch the other children, dressed in smart uniforms, walk down the dusty path towards the village school. She'd sit by the window, her chin resting on her hands, dreaming of joining them, of learning to read, to write, to count, and someday to build a better life for her family. But school was a luxury they couldn't afford. The cost of books, uniforms, and even the pair of shoes required to attend was simply beyond their reach. Still, Eliza never stopped dreaming. She'd collect torn pages that blew in from the road, carefully folding them and storing them in a tin box. At night, when the house was quiet, she'd use a stick and charcoal to copy letters she had memorized from signs in the village. She didn't know if what she was doing was right, but it felt like magic, like she was planting seeds no one else could see. One morning, fate shifted. Mrs. Whitmore, a retired teacher who had recently moved into the village, noticed Eliza sitting alone near the school fence. Her tattered dress and bare feet couldn't hide the spark in her eyes. Curious, the elderly woman called her over and asked if she could read. Eliza shook her head but recited the alphabet perfectly. Moved by her determination, Mrs. Whitmore visited Eliza's parents that very evening. "I can't promise much," she said kindly, "but I can teach her for free here at my cottage. I have old books and paper, and I believe she has a gift." Eliza's parents were hesitant at first, afraid of false hopes, but eventually agreed. From that day on, every afternoon after chores, Eliza would run to Mrs. Whitmore's cottage. She learned quickly, so quickly that within months she was reading full stories and writing simple letters. Her imagination flourished. She'd write little tales of talking birds and magical forests, sometimes slipping them under her father's pillow or her mother's basket just to make them smile. Word spread through the village of the little girl with the big dreams. The local school's head teacher took notice and arranged for Eliza to take a placement test. Despite her fear, she passed with flying colors. The school waived her fees and provided her with a used uniform and a worn-out pair of shoes, but to Eliza, they were golden slippers. School changed everything. She woke up each day with purpose. Her family, once quiet and defeated, now spoke of tomorrow with hope. Her mother smiled more, and her father sat a little straighter in his chair. Eliza made friends, stood up in class, asked questions, and even helped others who struggled. Years passed, and Eliza kept climbing. By the time she was 16, she was top of her class and had earned a scholarship to study in the city. The day she left the village, half the community turned up to wave goodbye. She cried as she hugged Mrs. Whitmore, whispering, "I'll never forget you." True to her word, Eliza didn't. She returned years later, not just as a graduate, but as a teacher herself. She didn't take a fancy job in the city. Instead, She opened a small school right there in her village. No child would be turned away for lack of shoes, or books, or money. She made sure of that. And when someone asked her why she came back, she simply smiled and said, "Because someone once saw a light in me when no one else did. Now, it's my turn." Her journey wasn't easy, but her dream, once as small and fragile as a single torn page, had become something powerful enough to lift not just her, but everyone around her. And so Eliza proved that even from the humblest beginnings, dreams can rise and hearts can soar. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories that touch the soul.